Hello everyone, welcome back to my Dragon Quest VI 100% walkthrough. First of all, one thing I don't think I covered before. There's different kinds of terrains in this game. There's the plains, that's just the grass, there's the forests, and then there's mountains, and there's various other things, but those are the three most common terrain types. And the significance of those is that they increase your step counter by varying amounts. Like grass increases it by very little, mountains increases it by a lot. So if you see me take some odd paths through the overworld, that's why.
Interesting.
And the other thing is, did you notice that Vague Esther commented on one of my videos?
What?
Vague Esther, he's... not everyone will know him, but he very frequently, frequented a lot of RPGs of older games, and some folks got irritated with him because, like, he always, like...
Register, right?
What?
I've heard of him. He grinds a lot, I guess, right?
Yeah, he does, and some folks get irritated with him because he gives, like, advice that they don't really want, or that they find absurd, and he keeps posting the advice. I just wanted to say that I don't have a problem with him, and if you see him commenting, just be respectful, let him do his thing. He's not hurting anything.
Yeah, just... You don't have to follow his advice, just take it at a grain of salt or something.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, it is.
Besides, every time he comments, he helps the channel, and I'd like all the subscribers I can, so...
Yeah.
Also, imagine being so desperate, you're going to poison your crush's dog just to get a date.
Yeah.
And we can't stop this either. Would it be
It's a
appropriate
shame
to
we
call
can't
this
stop it.
an invisible plot wall?
Yeah. Can't really get across it, but... Well, at least... Spoilers, if you don't mind. At least this mayor and... The mayor's son reunites, so... There's that.
Don't worry, guys. Boomer will be fine.
Yeah.
Boomer will live. No, that's the meme. No! Not Caro!
Yeah. The DS version does a moonwalk, sort of, I guess.
Mr.
Poor
Barkington,
dog,
right?
actually. Yeah.
Did you
I
know
mean,
that
it's not its
Caro
fault
is
that-
Spanish for dog?
Yeah. You know, I kind of find it weird. The mayor treats the dog more better than his son, but don't ask me why. I mean, I'm not against animal lovers, but it's a bit weird, just saying.
Speaking of weird, one of his lines in the remakes... No, wait, we haven't gotten there yet, so I don't want to spoil it. Well, I guess Mr. Barkington's actually a pretty good localization of Caro, because they both, like, mean dog, you know? Oh,
Yeah.
I missed the line, but there was a change I liked in the Super Nintendo version. He
Yeah.
brings up that what if they had poisoned them?
Poison us? Oh, you mean a family?
Yeah, like, they put poison in their food. What if one of the family had eaten that poison?
That would have been a... Well, the maid would have been in a lot worse situation, I guess.
Yeah, it would, and... You know, I don't really like the fan translation, but I will point out genuine improvements when I see it. It's only fair, right?
Yeah. Also, Dragon Quest tends to have some lame puns from time to time. Kind of amusing in a way, but
Yeah, Ever since Dragon Quest IV.
Yeah.
Like, I still remember the first day that I played the new modern Dragon Quest IV. And you play the prologue, the font looks nice, everyone's speaking in normal English. Then you get to chapter 1, and it's just like, what the?
Yeah, they're going to Scottish dialect, I guess.
Like,
I mean, it's not a bad decision in a way. Just
like, it isn't.
Came at a huge
I love
cost.
it now, but
yeah.
that was like looked at that first text box for 5 minutes, just trying to figure out what are these guys saying.
Yeah.
Like, apparently Ken means no, and Bairns means child.
Yeah.
No,
Bands.
Yeah?
The saying. Go on.
So, it's like, I figured all that out eventually, but after, like, literally sounding out every word, it's like, yeah, Ken, no, we're Bones, and, like, tried the weirdest way I could do it, and then I was like, oh, that's what he's saying.
You need to like read it to just get what it's saying. It'll take a while to get the dialect, I guess. Especially I'm not a Scottish or, well, in case of chapter 2 Russian, so it'll take a while to get what it's saying.
And that one actually isn't as bad. That one sounds more like someone put Google Translate through the script, and that was what came out.
It's like you took some Russian, put Google Translate, copied whatever came or not, something.
And then chapter 4 is just them repeating certain words, repeating certain words, repeating certain words.
Yeah. And like chapter 4 is an interesting one. If it's Mina and Maya, right? Chapter 4.
Yes, Mina and Maya.
They're basically French. They're French gypsies with an Indian origin. Like, they technically go in Hindi, I guess, in a way.
So does the name Ujam, is that a French name?
Probably.
Fair enough. Also,
I'm
before
sure
we...
Laissez-faire is a French name, though.
It is. Also, before we move on, there is a well monster here called a Well-Wisher. Just like with the Grim Grinner, it's not something you really want to fight. It's blatantly overpowered for this point in the game. And unlike the Grim Grinner, it doesn't even give a decent reward. You're guaranteed to get something called a Trailblazing Bandana, which doesn't
the remix,
boost
right?
defense. Yeah.
Yeah, boosts Carver's defense, I guess. Only Carver's. For some reason.
Also, Icebolt, that does 10 to 18 damage to a single target. All spells do 75% of the damage they do. Like, there are two different versions of each spell in this game. There's the spells you cast, and there's the spells the enemies cast. The spells the enemies cast are only 75% as strong as the spells you cast. So Icebolt isn't quite as scary as it seems.
One Icebolt isn't that scary, but if it adds up, you're gonna be in a bad situation. It still takes off like 1/5 of HP, so...
They are still dangerous, though, so I still run from the Goblin Pixies, but I do fight those guys since, as you can see, they're not that dangerous. I really want to get to level 7 before I fight the boss in here, and we are fighting a boss for the sap spell. So the reason why I'm leaving a lot of these in rather than editing them out is because I want to show you which is dangerous and which is not. For example, these guys can paralyze you, and if they paralyze both guys at once, it's a game over, just flat out.
Yeah. I mean, game modes and Dragon Quest are different from most RPGs. You lose money and you come back to church, but you don't lose your progress, so... Sure, losing money is a slap on the wrist, but... Imagine going 2 hours to a dungeon and losing everything because you didn't bother saving before. That's a lot worse. There you go, there's a metal slime.
Yes, these guys give 1350 experience, a crazy amount. But I'm not too worried about killing them now, because 1, it's not likely I'll succeed anyway, and 2, the people who need the most experience before we fight Murdaugh again, it isn't Carver and the hero, it's Millie. And Millie isn't in our party right now. I mean, she is, but she's not fighting with us, which is
in the remake,
a bit
she'll
of a...
join you, but she doesn't get XP. She'll be an NPC.
Yeah, she's AI controlled and she doesn't get EXP. She does make it a lot safer though when you fight those guys! The Babygoyles. Those guys are trouble.
Yeah, that makes the remakes a lot more easier to fight. Like, go to the dungeon, please. Like, here I'll rely on the hero's heal and medicinal herbs, but Millie can heal and buff you at least, so it helps.
Yeah, she makes it so much easier in the remakes. That and the fact that you're at least a level higher in the remakes due to buffy XP, and your stats are slightly higher as well. But like, in this version, you can fight 4 of those guys. And they have the Sizz spell, or Fireball. It does 10 to 18 damage to everyone in your party. So if you're fighting 4 of them, they could technically just wipe you. Just like that.
Son of them of the AI, I guess. Interesting. Using the heal seed on... I mean, seed of magic on Rex.
Yeah, it's more so to free up inventory space and because it's a good time to use it, because inventory is kind of tight in this one. Okay, so this one I'm gonna need some concentration for, just so you know. Okay, so in the remakes, this is just a stock battle. Just get the sap spell on him, take away his defense, and whack him upside the head as needed. Super Nintendo has an interesting property where you can confuse him, and he'll do one of 3 things based on... Well, one of those things is that he'll run away. That was really lucky. But the other thing is that he can hit himself, or he can just stand there not knowing what to do. And what's dangerous about that is if he gets the buff spell on him, and then you confuse him, and then he stands there not knowing what to do. If you don't have sap, he could be borderline invincible, as you're just nickel and diming him for 1 hit point at a time.
Yeah, I see it. It's a bit dangerous, but I'm not sure if this is in the remakes, but the chance it can flee is pretty nice.
Sorry, you're cutting out there, what?
Alright, the chance of flee, I mean, when you confuse the boss, the chance of flee is pretty decent, I guess, so...
I'm not sure he does
makes
run
the boss
away.
a bit... Yeah.
He might. If that's the case, then the American speedruns should be using it more.
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't know it until I saw this video, so I don't blame them for not knowing. Well, unless you've done the research, but if you're not researching your speedrun, but that's your fault.
I would bring that up sometime, huh? Well, that's a time for later, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, not everyone is gonna like the fact that I ran from so many fights. So, in regards to the Babygoyle fights, if you fight more than basically what you want to do if you choose to fight them, which I don't recommend, but if you do, I would use the Lucida shard on them or the star fragment and confuse one. That way, it lands almost all the time, and you can immobilize one of them before they get a chance to hit you. Then Carver is usually, he's usually strong enough that he can one-hit KO at one of them with a flying knee. Or if he's not strong enough, he's just about there. But even if you do that, you've still only got one of them. The other 4 can still do 10 to 18 damage with their Sizz spell to everyone, so that's still upwards of 54 damage you're doing. Or dealing with. So, also keep your hit points above 54, because the maximum amount of damage they can do with Sizz is 54. So if you're at 55, there's no way 3 of them can kill you. That's what dictated my herb strategy there.
That can be a bit dangerous, 54 damage, early on.
Also, one interesting plot detail, the fan translation kind of misses this, but there are some pretty ugly implications in this scene. In the remakes, he says he sold her off to a traveling merchant. So basically a slave, and they're going around to who knows where, which is why Joseph here is getting all panicked and gonna run off to save her.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And the interesting thing about this game is you never actually resolve it. You personally don't. Johan actually resolves it, but you're never required to come back here. Like, if you kill Murdaugh, and you see them in their house, he's like, well, I summoned up the stones, and after a long search, I finally found my wife. But the mayor was ashamed of himself, so he ran off, and then I was like, gosh, I hope the mayor's okay. But you don't have a reason to visit this town again, so if you don't go back, you're just left hanging as to what happened to this beautiful girl sold into slavery.
That's kind of dark in a way.
It is.
Also, there's an optional scene with Carver here. I won't spoil what it is, but you'll know when you fight Murdaugh.
Oh, that is true, huh?
Yeah.
Anyways, I should get around to covering the casino here. This is another big difference between the Super Nintendo and the remakes. In the remakes, they have 100-coin slot machines and 10-coin slot machines, and you get a gold coin for every 20 pieces of regular gold you spend, which is expensive, but it's not so expensive that you can't take advantage of it. So, you can get some really good stuff in the span of only about a half hour. 2 sets of platinum mails, 2 sets of dragon shields, 20 magic waters, 10 Yggdrasil leaves, 20 silk tuxedos. You can get all of that if you know the exact way of gambling. Whereas here, in the Super Nintendo, they only have 1-coin slot machines. So your only bet is to try to get lucky with these double or nothings. But, like, I literally needed to cheat to use save states just to get this far. And even then, I can lose all my money almost instantly. And the stuff that I was mentioning costs like 1,000 gold, 1,500 gold, 200 gold. I mean coins.
Yeah.
So it is not worth it in this version. Not worth it.
Here, yeah. The remakes. Getting some free Platinum Mail and Dragon Shield at this early on is going to be nice. They're gonna last a while, so don't have to buy anything at least.
Plus it turns... Like, one of the boss fights in this game is famous for being really, really hard. Partially because it comes right before you're about to get access to the job class system. And partially because the guy is just so brutal for where he's at in the game. And the Platinum Mails and Dragon Shields and Yggdrasil Leaves basically turn that into a guaranteed victory. If you know how to be smart about things. So even though it costs an average of a half hour, it is so good to have. Even if you're trying to play quickly.
That's good to know. The good thing is Platinum Mail and Dragon Shield last you up to, you know. Last you up to the point where you get the last for most of the game, so
also if you're wondering why I'm spending all this time in the casino, it's really just to demonstrate how unreliable it is. Because it's one thing to tell you, it's another thing to actually see it for yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, even after cheating at the double or nothing with save states, it still ends up in a bust for me.
Well, that's a lesson, folks. Only gamble what you can afford.
Yeah, only gamble if you can get all your money back for free afterwards.
Yeah.
No, video game
Apply
gambling
it to real life too, so...
Yeah?
Yeah, apply to real life too, honestly.
Yeah, real life... I don't know, I mean... It looks fun, but it's like... Where does the fun stop, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's fun winning and all, but... And it's hard when you lose, so...
I mean, casinos make money for a reason. They very carefully designed things so that, on average, you lose more than you win. Otherwise, they'd go out of business. I mean, they have to.
Yeah.
Anyways, this has been Fiona and Dayquester and Dark Knight signing out, and God bless you.
See you folks in the next video. Bye-bye.